generally tend to be either African traditional religious worshippers or Christians. They are being systematically replaced, right? The video you played at the start, with the gentleman recounting what was done to his village, this is a pattern that has persisted for years, coming into decades now, where the point isn't necessarily to murder everyone living in the Middle Belt. That's not the point of it. If you recall, he mentioned that they burnt all their crops, everything that can help them to survive was destroyed. Now, if this was all about just killing people, why would these bandits, terrorists, killers, whatever you call them, why would they go after crops and burn them for no reason? The reason is that the purpose of these attacks is to render those places completely uninhabitable and inhospitable to the indigent populations so that they will leave. And when they do leave, as has happened hundreds of times, when they do leave, then these settlers, as you call them, the Fulani settlers, then move in, actually rename these villages, right? So someone somewhere was known as, it belonged to an indigenous group, maybe a TV or a Famswang group maybe in Plateau State or in Southern Kaduna or whatever. And then these attacks happen, and these people are forced to leave because even if they survive the attacks, there's no way for them to continue living in that place. Their houses have been destroyed, their farmland have been destroyed, their livestock has been destroyed. They have no way of surviving, so they have to leave. And when they leave, those villages are then occupied. The indigenous names of those villages are changed to Muslim or Fulani names. And then before you then have an artificial settler population settling in those places, building houses and themselves the occupiers of that place. So that later on, when the original indigenous populations start to come back, then there's this whole thing going on about actually we are the owners of the land, and then the people who are then there will say no, we are just here. There's a whole thing, and then the government gets involved, and the government will then say, okay, two of you have to find a way to survive together, and then this one will say, okay, we want our own traditional leader, and then before you know it, a place that was completely indigenous before and Christian or ATR, before you know it starts having population years, right? That is expansionism. That's how it works, right? It's a form of imperialism. Let's call it what it is. It is a directed and targeted campaign of ethnic genocide. That is exactly what is happening.